how are you today? I'm Lynda Hafner. I'm a top producing realtor at ERA Key Realty in Central Massachusetts. I'm coming to you today to talk about 3 big reasons why you need a written pre-approval when you are thinking of buying a house. I hope this information and knowledge will empower you so that you feel confident with the choices you make when you're ready to buy a house. So, of the 3 big reasons why you need a written pre-approval, the very first, and in my opinion, the most important, is because the seller will not even consider your offer without one. So, what does that mean? That means that if you find yourself in a competitive situation with other buyers hoping to get the same house, and if they have their written pre-approval letter and they're ready to go with their offer and you don't have your written pre-approval letter, they're not going to consider your offer and you could lose the house. And that, unfortunately, I've seen it happen, and it's a sad thing. So rather than wait for that to happen, be prepared in advance. Even if you don't think you're 100% ready to buy a house just yet. Getting all that documentation together, submitting it to the lender, it's somewhat of a process and it takes time. And if your lender is one who doesn't work on weekends and you just happen to find the perfect house on a Saturday, you're out of luck until Monday. It's just one of those things you don't think is going to happen, and yet it does. I see it happen to clients over and over again, and that's why I just can't stress enough that if you're even in remotely thinking about it, just get that written documentation so you have it. The second reason why you want a written pre-approval letter is because when you have that written pre-approval, you're guaranteed what you can afford. And a lot of clients, they think they have a number in their head. They think they know what they can afford because they know how much they make. But what they don't take into effect is that lenders are not going to give you the same amount of money that you can actually afford, because they are taking into effect things you might not be. For example, they look at, well, one, your credit score. Your interest rate is going to be dependent on what your credit score is. And maybe you don't know what your credit score is and you don't know how much that's going to affect your loan process. These are all things that a loan officer figures out for you. You also may have some credit issues in your credit history that you had no idea about. Now, what happens if you find that magical house that you love, and all of a sudden when you try to go get that pre-approval letter, this issue comes up, you can't get the pre-approval letter because of the issue, and that whole issue needs to be resolved before you can get the pre-approval letter. These are all things that suck away time, and in our market right now, in this seller's market we're in 2020, that time isn't always there. So these will help you and prevent you from running into these possible issues of losing the house that you love. The third reason why you want that written pre-approval letter is because it'll give you the confidence you need when you're looking at homes. When you're looking at them online, when you go see them in person, you'll know, yes, I can definitely afford this. There's nothing worse than getting your hopes up over a house and then later finding out, oh, geez, my credit isn't good enough. I can't go that high. It gives you that boundary. You know exactly what you can do. And I find working with buyers all the time that many people are unaware of exactly what a lender will lend them. So this number just takes the guesswork out of it, and then you can actually enjoy the house hunting process. Where do you get a pre-approval letter? Well, couple different choices. If you already have the realtor that you're working with, then they are the best resource because they have worked with lenders through the entire process from start to finish. And they can give you a really good loan officer because a loan officer could make or break the deal. It really, I mean, if you have someone who's new in the business as opposed to a veteran who knows all the programs, knows how the process works, you know, you're gonna have a much better success rate and getting from offer all the way to closing. So use your realtor as a resource. If you have a local bank that you are comfortable with and have a good relationship with the people there and you want to use them, that's totally fine as well. I know that Cornerstone Bank is a local bank where I am. I've had really good closings with them, but all banks are a little bit different. Some of the bigger banks tend to not process things as quickly because they are so big. So these are some of the things that you want to consider when you're looking at your 45-day window of getting that closing done. And if you want it done on time, you might be better going with a smaller bank if you want it to stay on schedule. Companies that specialize in just mortgages are a really good resource, I find, because that's their specialty. So they're not doing a whole bunch of other loans. They are only doing mortgages, which means the whole process is a bit smoother. They're completely focused. And that can benefit you if you want things done quickly and on time. Another advantage I find with using a mortgage company is that the loan officers for mortgage companies, for whatever reason, I seem to be able to access them on Saturdays and Sundays. That's a really huge perk for me and my buyers who, if we go to see a property and they want to put in an offer and it's a Saturday after banking hours, they can still adjust their pre-approval letter if needed, depending on the circumstances. Whereas if you're using a bank with banking hours, that is not always available to you. So these are some of the things you want to kind of know in advance so that you can make your decisions accordingly. To get a written pre-approval letter, there are certain documentation that I've written on the board behind me that you're gonna need. You're gonna need to have a consent form to the lender, letting them know that they have permission to pull your credit. And they are going to use that to help determine your interest rate. The better credit score you have, the better interest rate that you are going to get. They're also going to use that information to help determine which loan product is the best, whether FHA or conventional or, you know, a lot of things like that. However, that is a topic for another video. You're also going to need 2 years tax returns, 2 W-2s. If you're self-employed, it might be a little bit more complicated. They might require more documentation from you. Each lender does require somewhat different information, but this information behind me is just a good rough estimate of what you're going to need, just so that you can maybe get that paperwork out, start looking for it now, get it ready. 2 months bank statements and the past 2 months pay stubs are also going to be needed by the lender to give you a written pre-approval letter. They need to verify your employment and they need to verify all funds that you have in the bank. All this documentation that they need is only for the written pre-approval. I will go into more detail in another video about what's needed for the entire mortgage process because you're going to need more paperwork than this. This is just to get you that initial preliminary written pre-approval so that you can put in an offer. I know it seems a little daunting getting all this paperwork that you need, but it really, once you do it and you have that written pre-approval letter, then you can go out there with confidence and do your house hunting. House hunting in a seller's market can sometimes be a little bit stressful. So let's alleviate as much stress from this process as we possibly can by learning about it, understanding the process, and preventing issues that might come up before they happen. That is my goal for you. I hope this empowers you to make the best decisions for yourself. Okay, good luck, and please tune into my next video and my next topic, which is going to go into a little bit more detail about understanding the home buying process. In my next video, I'm going to talk about the tips and tricks to save yourself time when you're actually in the house hunting process. So I hope you will subscribe below and comment. Please reach out to me if you have any questions, if I can help you in any way. That's what I'm here for. I love helping buyers buy the right home, one that they feel comfortable and confident with. My goal is through these videos to empower you to make excellent choices that you feel really good about when you are buying a home. All right, thanks. Have a great day.